Emotions, emotions, emotions. Yeah, it's that one thing. It's one thing that holds people back is emotions. Yeah, we're going to have some fun today. This is a guide to sitting with your emotions, and I'm Mario Leone, and welcome aboard to Voices of Victory. We're at 10,000 feet and climbing. This is your captain speaking, and we're on a non-stop journey to sitting with your emotions. Don't forget to click the Patreon link below. And of course, follow along, take some notes, do what you feel is best at this point in time. But get comfortable and feel free to move around the cabin. Let's get started with no further ado. Ready for takeoff. Here we go. When you are sitting with your emotions, the very first idea that we want to unpack and understand is your environment. When your environment is a safe place, then you and your emotions will feel emotionally stable. So if you're out in the middle of the forest, for example, and you try to sit with your feelings out there, that would be difficult depending on what kind of person you were. So if you were out in the forest and you felt completely unsafe, there was no sense of safety or privacy, then your brain could be fighting yourself. Literally, could be fighting. So the very first key idea is we set the environment in order to have stable emotions because we're going to be feeling. We're not going to be thinking. We're going to be feeling. So that's what this is all about, right here, right now, and we're going to go further. What we're trying to do is when you set that environment, what we're doing is becoming open for our attention. So we're putting our attention in the correct direction. That's what we're doing. We're supporting the range of our entire attention span in that moment. Because your attention is not going to be external. It's not on things that are outside of you. It's actually things that are going on inside. So feel free to be in an environment where you feel safe. Feel free to relax. You could sit, you could recline in a chair, or you could be in partial motion for that matter. The point is not mastering your posture, but more so noticing how different positions you're in and how you actually feel in them. So we want to get our attention to open up and to go very wide. Wide means the range. So we're not just looking at, let's say, sadness, we're looking at many feelings that come up. So that is an important piece of the puzzle. We open up our attention wide, and at the same time, some parts of your awareness will settle, they'll relax. But just remain open. Because it's really hard to have your inner critic or inner judge when you actually remain open. Just remember that. The more open you are. You can even repeat the words, I am remaining open. So this is a moment where you can be expansive and feel your feelings. Because that's what you're supposed to do at this point in time is feel everything. A lot of people push away their feelings or they escape and numb them out. But this is a point in time where you are allowed, you have my permission, and you have to give yourself permission. And you can say, I give myself permission to feel right now. Now, distraction is not excluded. It becomes part of the entire area of emotion being observed. So we're going to be in observation. So we want to move our attention away from distractions and on our feelings. If distractions come, allow them to come, allow them to go, but get back to your feelings. Just pivot right back to that emotion the best you can. It is a good idea as of right now to put away all physical distractions, technology, things of that nature. Things that are going to create multitasking, put them away, best of your ability. So the second thing we want to do is select the actual emotion and the area of that emotion in our life. So instead of choosing one single emotion, we're going to be noticing whatever comes up, whatever bubbles up, whatever emotion bubbles to the surface. So what appears might be your tense muscles with bits of fear behind it. Maybe feeling irritated and blending it into you being tired. Feeling sad, and that creates some kind of pressure inside of you. So there's no need to isolate one. You could consider yourself going from one to the other, because this is about an emotional experience, and it's going to have a lot of overlapping feelings. This is where people get mixed feelings. You ever have somebody say like, hey, what do you think about that? Oh, I have mixed feelings about that. Right? So they're going to be overlapping feelings and patterns rather than separate pieces. So just understand more than one will come up. Allow them to come, allow them to go, and you can sit in them for as long as you can. There's no need to isolate one of these elements, no need to isolate one emotion, because your emotional experience will happen in these waves that just come and go like the ocean, rather than separate pieces. So this is the point where we submerge ourselves. We put ourselves in there. We go right into what feels most active or most strong or most noticeable in that actual moment. Now, the next step from here is actually feeling through imagination. Imagination is more powerful than intellect. That was Einstein who said that. Rather than trying to trigger an emotion or push an emotion, we're just allowing the pathways of emotion to come and go, to form on their own. So we're not trying to push, we're not trying to force, we're not trying to trigger either. We're not triggering the emotions, we're moving through them slowly. So you're going to have memories. Memories are like references. Now, memories aren't 100% perfect, because a lot of times we remember bits and pieces and our brain has a tendency to fill in the blank. So here's the deal. You may get a memory, you might even get a scenario that's imagined. Maybe there's a future scenario you're thinking about and you're imagining, and there's feelings behind that. A memory from the past could surface or bubble up, but these are not producing a reaction in you, but they're there to let the body and mind remember and recognize the familiar feelings and sensations in your body. You got to remember, some of these feelings are deeply tied into the nervous system. So the content of memory is secondary, like what the memories are secondary. The emphasis is on how your body is feeling fully and completely. We're trying to understand how our minds might organize these things, but the emphasis is on how you feel, so you can go from one emotion to another. So you're going to have these memories that include these characters, people, ideas, stories, narratives, whatever the case may be, but it's all about how you feel. That's where the emphasis goes. So we're feeling through imagination. You could think of imagination as just a projector on the screen, but what you're feeling inside you is real. The next step is we start to deal with sensations in the body. So when it comes down, our attention is going to start spreading from the feeling of the emotion to maybe where something is going on in our body. So your attention starts to spread or scan across the body. It's trying to notice where there's maybe some kind of tension or pain or some kind of discomfort in the body is being experienced. It's looking for that activity that's concentrated in that area. So the sensations are the tension you feel in your muscles from the fear. So the sensations might appear like in one spot or multiple places. Or maybe there's just a bit here, a bit there. Maybe it's moving between certain areas of the body. So there's no requirements, no need for precision here. The focus is on understanding where in that body, where are you feeling that? And it's okay to journal that if you wish to journal that. So you're locating the sensations in the body. So you might scan your whole body from head to toe and start to recognize where. The next step is when we have these sensations, start describing them. You can actually verbalize it out loud a little bit, but by doing that, the moment you do, it puts you in your head and not in your body. You see, that's what happens. People get caught up in the trap. So here's the deal. Instead of treating emotion as this one item, you're observing it. You're observing the changing qualities that are inside of you. So you might have different depths of emotion. 1 minute it's deep, 1 minute it's not. At one point, you might be feeling still, and at the other point, the emotion might be moving around a little bit. So you're going to have those different feelings. You might even express them through temperature. Hot, cold, warm. Maybe you even feel things in the body. Tense, tight, melting away. So these are not definitions. These are just how you're reading some of those sensations. Think of it that way. And what tends to happen is we might read these sensations and start to think about them. But what we're trying to do is feel them, feel the emotion, and move through them. The next step is observation, sustained observation. Attention is important because you put your attention on the sensation, but you're not trying to redirect it, get rid of it, or stabilize it in some way. But your focus will indeed start changing, start fluctuating. 1 second, you could be very sharp with it. Another second, you might be all over the map, all over the body. So all of these things are part of the observation process. So the goal is not control of your attention. It's actually the recognition of how your attention is behaving when it's in that emotional area. That's what's important. The next step is interactions and the variations that are contained. So instead of testing your responses and what's going on, you're just going to shift and move your attention into different areas. One point, the attention might go physical, and at another point, it might go back to emotional. It's okay to go back and forth between emotional and physical. And we're putting the focus there. What will happen is the mind will try to derail us and move us on a different direction, but we have to direct our attentional conditions towards feeling and sensation. So some of the things you might experience is you might experience movement of resistance. You might experience a muscle contraction, for example, or maybe a sensation getting bigger. That's where the variations come in. All of a sudden, it started in the pit of your stomach and it went into your chest. So we want to feel that openness. We want to be open. We want to feel it all. We want to feel that expansion. And when things get a little bit gentler, we want to feel that gentleness too, that softness that goes down. So you want to recognize the movements of resistance, the muscles. You might move, your body might move a little bit, but we want to remain open, and your breathing could change. So you want to maintain a full lung capacity breath periodically. Every now and then, when you feel a little bit something in your body, go full breath, like to the top, till you can't go anymore. Hold it for 4 count, and then just release it slowly. And then get right back into that emotion again. Now, your attention will start to change its intensity. So you might be very focused on one area. Your attention could blur the boundaries between this is a thought and this is actually a feeling. But we are being in our body, we're getting into the feeling. So it's not about overthinking, it's about feeling at this point in time. So we want to observe where the attention is going. We want to push it towards the sensation and feelings. We want to observe our breath. We want to have a sense of acceptance, openness. When things are coming, have that openness and acceptance to it. And you want to understand when the muscles are contracting and what you're feeling. Now, the next step is literally our perception and understanding of boundaries of things. So a lot of people might separate a lot of things. They might separate the contraction from the feeling, but they usually come together, right? So we create these boundaries. We start to compartmentalize them and separate them, but, we need to look at what is actually observed. So you're going to have sensations that start to expand. Like I said, you have something starting in the pit of your stomach, but then it starts to get bigger, start to expand. So you want to observe that, and you want to feel that. And inhale, get that breath. But the whole entire understanding of the array of emotions it's all treated as temporary, right? They're going to come and go. It's okay. And you need to go to the next step, which is to allow yourself the full range of emotion. Happy, sad, kind, upset, whatever let it all coexist. Let the confusion go. Let the emotions be there. Sit in them. Feel your sensations. There are emotional patterns. They're going to come and go like the ocean. You could have clear-headedness and be confused about something at the same exact time. They can coexist. You could have sensations in different intensities all at the same time. So allow that full field and just let that integrate into you, because this will allow you to keep going. We're not directing towards a resolution. We're allowing it to be here. We're allowing our feelings. You could think of emotion as energy in motion. So allow it to remain in motion rather than directing it towards a finish line. Every now and then, you're going to move from attention or a distraction back to awareness. You're going to become aware again. Your attention is going to gradually maybe go all over the map. You're going to keep moving it back to how do I feel? What do I feel? What do I feel? And your attention will start spreading out across your body, go from the knees to the stomach, all different parts of you. And you can start to become aware by recognizing your connection to your chair or your hands on your lap or maybe a sound off in the distance or the deep breathing. getting that full lung capacity breath. So there's an emotional activity. It's going on. It's happening inside you. It might reduce at some moment. And that's when the thoughts tend to go external. How do I look? What's going on? Am I doing this right? Like, these are the things that happen in the mind, right? So you don't need to conclude any of that. You don't need to come to a decision. You just need to feel. So you're going to transition back to ordinary awareness from time to time to become aware. So when we recognize that our bodies are connected to the chair, that's a moment of awareness to bring us back to our body, bring us back to that sensation. The very last step is to reflect. So when you're done, you're going to grab a little notebook and a little pen. You're going to start to write down your patterns, because it's not that you have patterns, it's that you are pattern. You are pattern. And it's pattern recognition, and it doesn't have to be final. It doesn't have to be just a one time. You're not going to get it all in one shot. You might do this in more than one session. But this is all about reflection. Reflection is exactly what it sounds like, reflecting on our emotions. We ask questions about what we felt, about how we feel. So don't come to conclusions. Just note down and write your patterns of change. I felt this. I felt it here. This is a feeling that came up with it. You don't necessarily have to get into the memory. The memory does add context, but it's not necessary because we're getting into the feeling nature. So how did that sensation move around? Write it down. How did your attention move from one emotional state to another? Write it down. Like when sadness came up, did you start pushing it away and you felt like you were fighting yourself? Or were you able to allow it to be here? Allow your feelings to be here. How intense was it? If it was going in different directions, how intense was it? What emotions appeared and then just completely vanished a second later? Write that down. Because nothing is finalized. This is all about you observing. And when you start to observe in this way, it becomes a skill, a very awesome skill. You start to recognize the subtle things that are going on inside you because your attention and awareness are getting into the body. So the emotional experience is not something that should be treated as something that you just enter and exit or hold or release or fix or avoid. That's not the case at all. I want you to understand it is a practice, but it is understood as moving through your emotions, moving through your senses, your attentional aspect, and your bodily aspect. And it can be observed in many different ways. And you don't need to stabilize your emotions in that moment, but you need to feel them. Feel them and understand them in a single meaning, and writing this down. So that's all there is today. I hope we enjoyed the episode. We're now ready to land on this wonderful journey. Make sure you take your carry-on luggage with you. Don't leave anything behind. And most of all, make sure you click the Patreon link below. And if you want to grow, we'll grow together and grow on this channel. Take care.